Hey, I'm Sheena Shuey. I'm a registered social worker and host of the 4Q podcast. I'm passionate about normalising, not pathologising life, and that's not easy. So each episode, I have amazing guests on to share the messy, beautiful ups and downs of life in 4 key questions with tips and tricks along the way. There are moments in life where you can embrace your story and understand that it's okay not to feel okay sometimes. So let's get into it. This is the 4Q podcast. Hello. I cannot explain to you how big my smile is right now and how happy I am here for the 52nd weekly episode of the 4Q podcast. 4 questions every single week of redesign. I can't even say it, but you know, the 4R method, right? So it's reflect, redefine, redesign, and then realign, right? And for some of you who've been listening for a while, you may have found that there are episodes where I have those that formula, and then there's other episodes where I have that infused, but it's not following the formula. But that was where the 4Q came from. 4 questions, the same every week, because I love hearing different perspectives on 4 questions. And it took me a little while to get to that point. I wanted to ask other 4 questions, right? Like I wanted to have, because initially I started this podcast thinking I would only have guests and didn't really realize I'd be doing so many solo episodes. But the 4 questions were going to be things like, what do you think the meaning of life is? Or what's your biggest lesson learned? Life advice that all sorts of amazing people and coaches and professionals and, women and men and, other genders, people, just people generally. I just wanted to hear people's stories and hear like the good, the bad, the ugly, right? Because I think sometimes when you're not in a good place, you're stressed, anxious, burnt out, lost, you just feel like you don't know what direction you're going anymore. It can feel so lonely and like you're the only one and nobody sees you. It's like you have to go on that scary kind of lonely journey alone. And I've been there, and I think one of the themes that really comes across in all the conversations I've had during this time with my beautiful guests, ranging from all sorts of walks of life, is that, there comes a point where I'll share a part of my journey, for example, where I worked extremely hard to get a job that I thought was going to be right for me, to get into an organization that everyone I knew wanted to work for, everyone I knew wanted to get into, and I got in, and people were like, oh, that's amazing that you did that, and blah, blah, blah. Only to realize like it was not for me. I was going to sell my soul to the devil. It didn't fit with my lifestyle. I'd have to work really, really hard for really long hours. And I'd have to jump through so many hoops of proving myself. Proving myself to who? And for what reason? When you know what you're capable of, So that was really crushing and really heartbreaking for me. I know that for sure. And it definitely came into a breakdown. I think I mentioned in one of the episodes where Sally from Get Out There Adventures, it was so funny. We're meeting and we're like, oh, this person's going to align with me. We just know it. And we went for a walk in nature while I was going through this period. And this is the first time I'm meeting her, and we're sitting by a ledge near a river, near some bushland, and I just start bawling, and she's like coaching me through it. And we're talking about alignment and all of those things, because she was in the same space in terms of getting clarity and alignment and being true to what you really want. And yeah, I've been there, right? And so, and I've been there several times, like not just once, it's happened several times. So I think we can all agree that something that we've noticed in all of the guest podcasts I've had, and so much in the work that I have with people, is there's this pinnacle moment where we all work towards a life that we're told we're meant to have, that is meant to be a life. Like we work towards a life that we're supposedly supposed to have, only to realize that we don't like it or it doesn't fit right with us. Hence why anxiety, stress, burnout, depression show up. They're not showing up to punish us. They are showing up as your body's natural reaction to say, hey, pay attention, like this is the notification system. Things aren't right and you need to change it. Whether that's you need to change things in your relationship, your workplace, your lifestyle, you need to heal parts of yourself. I truly believe it comes at 3 levels. You need to heal parts of yourself internally and recognize your thought processes and your bodily sensations. You then need to recognize your relationship patterns, where that comes from, where that developed. You need to understand your connection or lack of connection with those around you and community. And then we also need to recognize that the lifestyles we live in the 21st century are not designed for human beings. We are not living in alignment with what our body, our brains, our DNA designed us for. So just like when you put an animal in the zoo and it's an unnatural environment and they show erratic behavior and they get anxious, stressed, depressed, why is it that we would think if you put a human being in an artificial environment that it would be any different? So yes, we live this life we're supposed to. And one of the analogies I think really sums it up, kind of what happens with our conditioning through school, through media, through a whole bunch of mediums, even through our parents, because our parents were parented by parents who were coming from survival. And everything post-World War II was really a survival state. And so they weren't doing things out of love or passion. They were doing things out of survival. So of course, getting a good job, getting a stable house, doing all of those things is stability after a war. Luckily enough for us, we can move past that and transcend survival mode, right? And so the story I like to think of from this conditioning and this parenting style that sort of affected us intergenerationally is, I guess if you think of it this way, right? If you've ever seen kids playing together, they follow rules that are without question sometimes. So some kids don't follow any rules, but all you have to do is get a stick and you draw a circle in the dirt, right? And you might have seen kids doing this with each other. You draw a circle in the dirt or the sand or whatever, and you tell a kid, you have to stay in this circle. You cannot leave this circle. If you get outside of this circle, you're going to be in big trouble. The world's going to fall apart. And that kid will make do inside of that circle, right? And they'll create a whole world inside of this drawn circle that's not even real. It does not even exist, okay? And that's what can happen to us when we get conditioned into a way of thinking, when we all think the same, when we all think, okay, I've got to go to school, get a degree, buy a house, live in the suburbs, work 40 hours a week, not see my friends and family 5 days a week, only have a life 2 or 5 days, And of those 2 or 5 days, I've got to do laundry, cooking, cleaning for the next coming week. Like, what kind of life is that? Honestly, like, what kind of life is that if that's our life between 20 and 70 or 20 and 65? Honestly, who wants to live that? So it's no wonder we all have these existential crises. And I think to myself, in all of the episodes, what the people have in common is something hectic happens, right? Whether it's a physical condition, a relationship breakdown, a sudden death, a mental health issue that is so crippling that they like, again, the notification system of the body is like, pay freaking attention to me. We cannot go on like this anymore. And something happens, whether it's psychological, spiritually, whatever you want to call it, all of the things. They step outside the circle and realize that the world doesn't fall apart. They don't have to live this sort of monotonized lifestyle. Hey, I can earn what I was earning at this big corporation in 20 hours a week. Or hey, if I do my own consulting, I can earn this amount. Or hey, people are really interested in this work that I'm passionate about too, and that brings me joy. Or even if it is taking a pay cut, but you go, you know what? I'm doing something that I love, so maybe I'll move to regional area where it's more affordable, but I can do what I love. You know, it's like stepping outside of the matrix, as people say. Like, you can create any lifestyle you want. People always say life is unaffordable. It's so unaffordable. And this is true. But if you're not attached to monetary things, you know, if you have less to pay for, then you're not so dictated by having to work long hours, by not getting to have joy, you know. And that's my real goal for people, is to follow their passions, follow what lights them up, redesign their life. You know, I can't tell you how many professionals I've worked with where they might be getting paid a certain amount of hours, but if you just shift it to go, what if you worked for yourself? Oh, I could charge 3 times as much per hour. So why are you not doing that? Oh, well, the security and of this job, and I get paid days off and this and that. And then you go, but you could work a third of the time and earn the same amount. So instead of being 8 hours at a job, 2 hours worth of commuting, so 1 hour there, 1 hour back, getting ready for work, coming home, you could do the same thing in maybe 3 hours working from home or doing your own consulting, and have all that extra free time to do things you love, to spend time with family, to really invest in life. Work is not life. Work is a passion and it brings us some purpose, but it's not everything. So I love all of the stories that have come through, which is really about having these epiphanies of, okay, this is the life I was meant to live. Then I get something really heartbreaking happen to me, or life-changing, shifting. And then I step into the life that aligns so much more to who I am, what my spirit, what my soul, what my mind, what my body wants for me. And that has been, just hearing those stories and trying to create that for myself, you know, because that journey to step outside of the circle, to step outside of the matrix, to step outside of the life you think you were supposed to have, and think outside the box of living in a different country that's maybe cheaper, living in a regional area, you know, consulting, doing your own business that, you know, you don't have as much security, but you can create that for yourself, you know, and then healing the parts of yourself that you know aren't quite right. I mean, that journey doesn't happen quickly. I'm still growing through it. Do I have the lifestyle of my dreams right now? Not so much. But do I know I'm working towards it by being here with you, by having the business Shavasana Collective, by trying to create a beautiful community where I could help people and get paid for it at the same time. It brings me so much joy, but it also means that I will have more freedom in my life. And that's what I want. So many of my clients end up doing that. They end up going, asking the question or realizing that, hey, I can actually survive on 4 days a week, not 5 days a week. I can actually survive on 3 days a week. Oh, if I only wanted to work 3 days a week, I could live in this area and that's okay with me because I have more time to do the things I love and to connect with myself. It's such a shift because it's so easy to just get caught in the day to day in the rat race without having that shock to the system. And unfortunately, I have seen the opposite too, where people get the message, the universe or whatever throws them a bone and says, hey, I'm giving you this experience so you can stop and analyze and change your life. And some people haven't taken that opportunity. And they get more depressed or they get more anxious or, something worse happens again. Something keeps coming back. I do believe that we keep getting the lessons that we haven't learned yet. So I would say with all of this, and especially because I'm recording this the day of the full moon, which is, again, in lots of different cultures, the day that you let go. You let go of everything that was in the last month, of let go of all the pain, of all the insecurities, going into the new cycle, right? Going into new beginnings, setting some good intentions. And so I ask you, with all of this knowledge, with what I'm saying, which I hope you resonate with, what is not working, right? What could you let go of slightly? Is it that there's a friendship that you need to let go of? Is it that deep down you can't keep working this job? And what can you do elsewhere? How can I slowly learn to let go of this? Is it deep down that the relationship you're in isn't working? That you need to let go of it? Is it that you need to set some boundaries with some family members and let go of the toxic dynamic that you're so used to, even though you're going to get backlash? Is it that you let go of ideas around what's supposed to be or how people will react? The amount of times I hear people say, I reckon they'll say no if I ask for 4 days a week instead of 5, or I reckon they'll say no if I ask for 3 days. And then they come back to me and they go, oh my gosh, they said they could make it work, or I could do 3 days one week, 4 days another week. And you just go, the answer is always going to be no, unless you ask. Ask the scary, hard question. What's the worst that's going to happen, right? You'll get a no. And then you go, okay, now reevaluate from there. But imagine if the answer was yes. Yes to the question, can I get a promotion? Can I get paid more? Can I work less? Can I do this? Can I do that? Just try to make that thing work and let go of whatever that hesitation is, that little, and also learn to let go of ideas that are holding you back and beliefs. We can all feel it, that jolt in ourselves where we go, oh, I want to do this. And then all the second guessing comes in of, oh yeah, but nah, oh, I don't have the energy, don't have the time, don't have the money, blah, blah, blah. It comes in. And so again, when you work with someone like myself or in our courses, we really kind of take that step back and go, where are these beliefs coming from? What's happening to that? And then how can we be aware of those beliefs? Because just being aware of your core beliefs and your core values and all of those things shifts things every single day until a year from now, 2 years from now, you wake up to a life that you love, a relationship that you love, that is thriving, that is optimal, and all because you had the courage to step outside of the circle and realize, like, hey, life's not going to fall apart. It's going to be hard to change things. It's not going to happen overnight, but it's doable. And I really hope that you listen to the stories and the podcast episodes that I have and take that out of it, that you have choices. You have the opportunity to step outside of your life and go, what do I need to let go of? And what can I move forward in? What's true to myself? And if you don't know what's true to yourself, again, that's another opportunity to go, I don't know what I want. Why am I so disconnected from my intuition or my feelings, I can't tell you how many people I work with where one of the first activities I do is to keep a mood diary, because they literally from day to day don't know what they're feeling. And that's our guiding light. Our feelings let us know what's right, what's wrong, what's working, what's not. So thank you. 52 weeks of episodes, 1 year of episodes. I'm so grateful for everyone who stuck around, were totally supportive when I've had a break, where I had to have a break. This is just the beginning. This is just season 1. We are definitely coming back once I have another baby, once that happens. So due date's Feb 2022, but I have this feeling I'm going to pop early. I just have it in my gut, so we shall see. But we will be back in 2022, absolutely no doubt. And I am still working because it's several months away. So if you're listening to this when you hear this, it's just October 2021. Please know, still doing one-on-ones. You can definitely book in with me. The 4-session package is on my website. You just click and book in, or you can book in a 15-minute consult just to see if we are the right fit and what you're looking for. So definitely check that out. I still do have the Life Reset online course. So if you just don't have the time for one-on-ones right now or the budget, I totally get that. The Life Reset is all the therapeutic activities I do with people one-on-one, or many of them, but you get to do it at your own pace, at your own time. So it's the next best thing for sure. And of course, the Heart and Soul Reset, which is my relationship course, and that is all about exactly the same therapeutic things I would be doing in relationship coaching. But you don't have to worry about dragging your partner along if they're not interested, or finding a time that fits both of your schedule and my schedule. It can be a nightmare doing relationship counseling just because of the scheduling alone, let alone actually both partners being open. And I really have to say, the best part of my relationship course is, regardless of what happens with your relationship, regardless if your partner is fully open, there are so many things that you learn about yourself, because every single activity in there has an individual component where you reflect on yourself and then you come together. So it literally could be a single person relationship course, because you're learning so much about how you are in relationships and then how that combines together. So I cannot wait for you to experience that, the clarity, calmness, and contentment that you will feel from the Life Reset, and the connectedness you'll feel for the Heart and Soul Reset as well. To feel like you're coming together again and having the hard conversations that every couple needs to have. I'd be lying to you if I said it was easy, but I tell you the results speak for themselves. So, all right, have a wonderful holiday season if you're listening to this in October 2021. Just take the best care of you. I'm smiling from ear to ear still, just going, oh, I'm so happy that you invest this time in yourself and you're here. Oh, my heart. It's so happy. So please stay connected. You know where I am on Instagram. Send questions, and good luck with everything. And I will see you at some point in the next episode of the 4Q podcast. Bye for now.